We here. My man, Lil Eazy-E, my brother.
It's the For Good podcast, because I really want to let you know how it is.
We got a lot of history together and a lot of future together too, so.
Oh yeah. Over 10 years before.
So. To be honest with you, I may not feel my father died of that.
You don't feel he died of that?
Now, let's think about what Eazy-E's about.
Right.
Ladies man, a lot of different women. He's not practicing safe sex.
I feel like they just try to throw that on him because of that.
You know what I'm saying? I was just going to a lot of aid facilities where they give you help, learn about the facts of this virus and what ethnicity it attacks, what the government does and does not do to help it. And even cities are like, wow, that's even worse than a third world country, and that's in America.
Our community, I think, looks down on therapy.
Yeah, we don't
like there's something wrong with us or something, but we don't need to look down. We need to look up to therapy. We all deal with trauma. We all deal with PTSD of certain things, and we need to be able to let it out, especially black men. What's good, everybody? It's your guy, JoJo Simmons, and this is the For Good podcast, where we focus on the good and never the bad, and we're measured on what we do and not what we have. My guest today is Lil Eazy-E, my brother and my friend. I appreciate you coming out today.
Yeah, brother, for sure.
So first of all, tell me how you doing today before we get into these questions.
I'm good, man. There's a little traffic. Other than that, make sure that I'm, nice, ease, and calm. Other than that, it was good seeing you. So it was more so, it was a chill day. You feel what I mean?
Like, I appreciate that. A lot of people don't understand that, like, we're real friends, and I called you. I said, hey, man, I'm starting this podcast. I think me and you would be really good. I want to interview you. You were like, no question, I'll be there. I gave you a time. You showed up early. I didn't think you was going to show up early.
I was there when you was walking in.
You showed up early. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. But it's great seeing you. I appreciate you pulling up.
Brother,
And I really want to, take this time to, get to know you more and talk and let the people know about our history and what you got going on. And really, on this podcast, I really want to focus on just positive things, man, motivational things, stuff that you're doing in your community, stuff that you're doing for your people, your family, stuff you're doing for yourself, for your mental health as a father, things like that. So we're going to be touching on a lot of different subjects today, but we're going to start with this. I got little cue cards, man. I feel like, Steve Harvey.
Come on with it, brother.
All right. So people know us from growing up hip hop together, right?
Yeah.
But we actually met on the Sons of Legends tour, correct?
Years before.
Yeah.
Years before.
With Chris Rivers and Young Dirty Bastard, JMJ's son.
That's how we go back with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got a history of him.
So what do you remember about the tour, and do you have any funny stories about that tour?
Oh my goodness. What do I remember about the tour? We had a great time. The tour was just good. We did about 3 or 4 cities. It's crazy because you bring this up. The promoter actually is resting in peace.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
His name was Troy, right?
Troy, I believe so.
Rest in peace to Troy.
Yeah, God bless his soul.
He brought us together for a good cause, man.
He did, and we had good time. And the significant story is when I first met. You got to think when you first thought to be like, okay, I'm finna meet JoJo. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, like me and my brother Derek. You feel what I'm saying? He was on the tour with us too. E3. We're like, he probably won't really too much relate to.
So I was gonna be Hollywood.
Yeah, he grew up, he still got his daddy, you feel what I'm saying? They, they living, right.
High life.
Yeah,
he don't know about us.
You feel what I'm saying? Like he ain't too much in a zone with us. And you were with Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog
Keys
still.
And
once we sit here and cross paths and we went after we chilled with JoJo, of course, we was young.
We smoked up.
Thank you. Okay, so I didn't,
We smoked up.
Sit here and put
you can sit here. Listen, this is a podcast. We're keeping it real.
Real talk,
wrong, man.
We definitely did. And you know what? And during the time we were smoking, the funny thing or the significant thing that happened is the fire alarm went off. So we thought it was us. You feel what I'm saying? Like, damn, we ain't supposed to be smoking. They already told us not to smoke.
I done ran in my room.
JoJo like, what? I smoke anywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? My man, I'm going to do it. I'll do it. They go to no, I'm dealing with me. So me and my brother was like, hey, he cool as a motherfucker. Like, what? He just like
I ran in my room and got more weed. I'm like, shit, we gonna keep smoking.
What? I'm like, what? And so as we smoking, the alarm go off. I don't significantly remember what happened.
I know why. You wanna know why? I found out why.
What happened?
So I remember why. This older couple was in a room and the guy put aluminum foil in his microwave.
Wow.
That's why they
Okay.
So we thought it was us.
We did. We thought it was us. We all left out. You feel what I'm saying?
But the story is way cooler thinking it was us.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah. We thought we lit it up. They don't know who the fuck it was.
Right.
You know, it's just us. You feel
That was a memorable, definitely probably one of the funniest stories of that
Real
week.
talk. So it was outside for about a couple of hours at the hotel while we were on tour, and that was our first date of really chilling and meeting JoJo.
But the thing about it is too, before I move on to the next question, is that is the first day we met and kicked it, but we were doing things kind of the same at the time. Like, remember, was it XXL? What magazine was it?
Yeah,
that was gonna do. They did interviews on all the sons of legends, and it was me, you, E40 son, Diggy. It was all of us. We were all in the magazine, and that was the first day I ever heard that Eazy-E had a son.
Boy with Cash Money.
Who was it? I forgot. I don't know.
Damn, he out there. Damn.
But it was a lot. It was basically all the sons of the legend. Dr. Dre's son was also involved.
Yeah.
I remember that. So that was the first time that I ever heard of Lil Eazy-E, Eazy-E as a son.
Yeah.
So when I heard about you coming on a tour with me, headlining the tour with me, of course I was happy, but what really made me happy was when they recruited me to come on Growing Up Hip Hop. And they told me, well, we got this other guy, he goes by Lil Eazy-E son. Do you know him? I said, do I know him?
No,
sign me up.
Same thing they actually
sign me up.
Like, well, you might have JoJo. I think that you guys know each other. I said,
sign me up.
I said, there you go.
How much am I getting paid in school? Like, sign me up. Because I knew that me and you were going to be dynamite on screen, and we proved that every scene that we were dynamite, and we talked about it. We had the game plan. We said, yo, man, we gonna go here, do what we do. Sometimes I was Kobe, you was Shaq. Sometimes you was Shaq, I was Kobe. That's how we always used to come out of scenes. Like, listen, Shaq and Kobe shit. Everybody used to complain during scenes, right? And be like, yo, I want to hurry up and get out of here. Me used to be like, yo, let's just get the job done. Give them what they want, get out of here.
Real talk.
And we were always able to do that and be easy to work with on set because we wanted to just get the job done.
With everybody. We knew what the real cause was and giving it, great entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And then it was natural with me and you. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
We kind of just, of course, knowing each other, it was like, it was off and on, despite if we're in a situation where somewhere where we sit here, we got to sit here and, you know what I mean? Chill,
right?
Hang out with the family, anything. Our chemistry was on.
Right. So let's, I want to jump into you and music and performing. All right?
Come on.
So you have the opportunity to perform with people like Ice Cube and things like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What is it like traveling the world, doing your dad's music, and what are the pressures associated with literally having to be your father and perform as him?
Well, it used to be, JoJo. It used to be pressure. But, I think we had this conversation before. It's like it became energy once you get to a certain stage and level, you know what I mean? When you kind of like, you own it, you feel it, you know what I mean? It's easy going to perform my father's stuff, and it's like exactly what I got in the game to do. So traveling the world, it shocks you out because you won't notice a lot of people bring their kids. We just did like Switzerland, Denmark, me and Yella, and one was all ages, and it was like a whole bunch of kids in the crowd, and a dude comes up and he's like, hey, this is my son's first concert.
Mm-hmm.
My first concert was when your father went to England.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying? The only time
full circle.
He went, and I brought my son so he could see the music that I listen to that he likes. So that right there is a humbling experience, like, whoa. And they're like, you know what I mean? They can't see Eazy-E,
right?
But they can see you,
right?
And you know what I mean? Like, or my son asked me, he's like, hey, does he have a son? Yeah, he does music. He's coming here. Dad, let's go see him.
Wow.
So I get different stories like that, and it makes you just like humbling. And you know what I mean? Then when they see the show, the dad and the son's like, man, it felt like it was your father.
Spitting image, right?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, especially with DJ Yella there. So it's like, man, it's a blessing, man. When I did it with Cube and the group and everybody, even Kendrick and Game was there, was on my birthday. You feel what I'm saying?
That's a great birthday gift.
What?
Right?
You feel what I'm saying? I was like, man, something else. And then that's when we were doing rehearsal. That's how Cube introduced it. Like, you gonna do this part. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, what?
Right.
He's like, oh, yeah, happy birthday, nigga. You know what I mean? So when we went out there and did it, it was just, man, it's a blessing. That's what I do it for, to keep my father's legacy. So performing this stuff is only a dream, and you get to travel the world to see different, likes and walks of different people in the world.
You said it's easy doing your dad's music, but what do you do to get in Eazy-E mode before you get on stage? Like, what is there a ritual? Is there something that goes in your mind before you get on there?
Just, how we
be
talk.
Your dad?
Yeah, you know how we talk. I'm gonna keep it real, straight up prayer. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just ask, my Heavenly Father, you know what I mean, for the strength. You know what I'm saying? Encouraged. We have a good show, a good outing. You know what I'm saying? I pray for the promoter to make some money.
Yeah.
You know
So you can make some money. Everybody got to make some money.
You want to keep it real. That's
Right.
why people don't understand and they don't see it until they get away. And then Yella, he's saved, so he's already on one. So our backstage and Wutu at this time in our life is just me and him and probably whoever else is with us. And then we'll go to our, different corners, and that's what I'm doing. I got my Lokes on. I'm giving it up, you know what I mean? And then I go. Then once I feel that, it's just faith. Like, hey, I'm just going to go rock it. One time I was sick, bro. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, this was way before COVID. You'd have thought I had COVID. You feel what I'm saying? I was like,
what did you do?
I don't know. Man, I did same thing, dog. I prayed, dog. Because why? I didn't have no strength.
Right.
I was like,
You had faith in God. That's all you can have.
Everything. And when I did my prayer, dog, and this is how you just know how stuff is so real, is I got out there, bro, and when he kick on, it's always easy. We want easy. That's like, it gets you energized. You feel what I'm saying? Before I do Boys in the Hood or anything like that. So I jump with the energy because Yella already prepped it and you can hear it. We had a sold out show. And then when I seen them and went out there, I was like, he just gave me energy and I went on one. After I finished, went back to the room, ate some grapes, went back, man, slept the whole night, slept it all off, woke up, had some breakfast, was like, man. And Yella was like, you cool? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, cause you was telling me, I was like, dog, I was weak.
But you did it. But you prayed and you got it done. I'm sure Pops was from up there giving you some of that energy.
But yeah, I was up there jumping around and everything. You would never think that I was that sick because I was weak.
A lot of people don't understand as entertainers, we still got to do the job sometimes.
Oh, man,
and we'd be sick, we'd be sad sometimes.
This is Newcastle. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was in Europe. So it's like, man, I'm like out there. I'm like, what? There ain't nobody to sit there and take care of me or we got to pause and we got to wait. We over here.
Right.
So
speaking about performing as your dad, and I saw some stuff, my team did some research, and we see that, and I see that you decided to focus on preserving his legacy versus focusing on your own music.
Real talk. Yeah.
Why have you decided, like, what was your decision behind that?
Cause it's just realistically, it's like, I didn't get in this. It's like, it go like this to where even like I give you credit, me and you had this conversation. And I'm like, dog, you get off. Or we be in the studio and JoJo be like, man, I need that verse. Come on. Like, JoJo, like, I can't just jump up there. I could get drunk and freestyle, but it's like, for me to write, it's going to take a while. Well, I didn't grow up with this passion. There's some people that did.
You're born into it.
I'm saying? Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that did. You give credit too. You feel what I'm saying? It's crazy because Cube did an interview and he said that my father became one of the best rappers and entertainers that he knows. And this is coming from a writer, you know what I mean? Because why? Being around it for so long, you pick up the craft to sit here and know how to jump on that bike and ride it. Right. So that as far as performance, I feel like I'm one of the best performers. You feel what I'm saying? Now, as far as coming down and rapping, yeah, I then became, a great rapper, you feel what I'm saying? But as far as having that passion early in the stage, it wasn't like me. I'm an entertainer. It wasn't in me. I played football.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That's what it is. Why did you get into music? Where did the music come from? It seemed like it was just, hey, God said, hey, here you go. It got passed on to you. Like it fell upon me to represent a legacy. And it's all organically, not to feel forced or anything. I was mad he wasn't getting recognized.
Right.
So I built a studio for myself and for other artists I was going to put on. So I was in this 18 years old and I'm sitting there, all right, cool, I'm going to do what I did when I was a kid. As a kid, we played around and mixed my father's songs, say my name, say my brother's name, change it up, take Ice Cube out or Ren out. And we act like we was the group.
Switch it out.
Yeah, we act like we was the group. So as a kid, I did that. And then homie was like, well, just do that stuff you used to do when you was a kid. And I did it. So they're like, man, you sound like your father. Man, you everybody always said you look like him. Why don't you whoop them and the other? And as I thought about it, I said, yeah, because I was rapping about him not being recognized and he was the first one to really start it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And then that's when it just went on. Like, who you gonna put money behind or your energy behind yourself? And right. You have a passion of what you want to do, speak your story.
Right.
So that's where it came from. It didn't come from that. So when people ask me like, man, because that's real. I'm doing this for him.
So
do this for me.
I see a lot of people though, when you do drop music, they show you a lot of love and support. You do a lot of views.
Yeah, you got, because
what
you got
would it
real
take
fans.
for you to drop another album if people wanted that?
I just left the studio 2 nights ago. So
is there an album on the way?
Yeah,
okay, so there is another album on the way.
Yeah.
So there is a Lil Eazy-E original music from just you coming out.
Most definitely.
More obviously, because you put out some stuff.
Yeah, I put out some stuff with Daz Dillinger, The Legacy, last March. And this March I wanted to. I'm just lacking. So it looks like it's going to come around maybe Eazy Day in April, you know what I mean? Or fall around Father's Day. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just going to say or put something. But I just did something that I feel like is equivalent to a single 2 days ago.
I love it. I want to hear it after this.
Most
I definitely wanna check
most
it out.
definitely, bro. Yeah.
So-
I got to. You know I have to let you listen to it.
Oh, you already came through with some gas for me. So now I got to hear the music. Exotics, Lil Exotics.
Little Exotics, the new line, Compton Candy. It'll be sure at you in dispensaries real soon. But you know, you got to call Lil E. You know what I mean? You could get it out the back door right now. But yeah, that's my line. And I'm still in medical marijuana world. You know what I'm saying? I still have partners, and I still created a lane to where, you know what I mean, I could keep a distro license, and it's nothing but to do it, but do what you do.
Right.
See, my other stuff was outdoor, which, you know, we didn't too much. That's why you always ask me, like, what?
But it was
JoJo,
doing good, though.
You don't want this.
But it was doing good,
Yeah,
though.
it was doing
It
did
was a
real good.
consumer for it.
It was real good. It was, yes, for the consumer, you know what I'm saying, at a great price point.
We'll jump into what you got going on, but as we
Yeah.
still speak about your dad,
Yeah.
he left quite a legacy. He has a lot of kids. What, 11 kids?
Very much.
Are you trying to catch up to him? You got 5, right? Are you trying? Because you got 5.
Nah,
Is it a race, or
No,
are you done? Are you trying to catch up to your dad, or like what's going on?
Nah, I got 6 to be, but
6? Oh, you got 6. Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah. But nah, it's just how life goes, and I love kids. I love my kids. You feel what I'm saying? And hey, you know, I mean, I guess the only thing that you say, you don't fall too far from the tree.
Right.
By as many kids as I have, because you know,
You like to multiply.
Oh yeah.
He said,
yeah. But God says it, though, be fruitful. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, you know.
All right. So I heard that you were working on a docu-series about your dad.
Yeah.
You still working on it? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, very much. I have some talks with some individuals. Possibly, I wouldn't mind going to a Netflix route. You feel what I'm saying? And putting it into it, like, you know, in a 10-part series. You know what I mean? Seasons over seasons. But basically, just want to talk about him himself. Let's go back to when he was a kid, how he got to where he went to, and the things he did as an individual. Not so much as a group. You know what I mean? Of course, everything that as a part of Ruthless is involved in it. But this is a story based solely on him.
Nice. Have you guys started shooting it, or you shopping it right now?
Nah. That's why I said the next meeting is with Netflix to shop it, which I don't have a problem going that route, because this is what I want it to be. Not a movie, not just this, more so.
Well, I'm just gonna let you know. You know, your brother has a media and production company, so when you're ready to shoot
Come on,
it,
what?
we can definitely
that's
get
how
that
we-
mini
that's how
doc
we
done
get-
for you, my brother.
That's how we get to work.
We're
But
gonna make it
yeah.
look beautiful for you. You know what I
Real
mean?
talk, brother. But yeah, just, you know, the accolades that he did as Eric Wright, you feel what I'm saying? And going into Eazy-E, but really focusing on when he was young. And then most of the stories and the accuracy is coming from his mother, his brother, and his first bodyguards and friends, real true friends that are still in Compton.
And I think it'd be dope to get some artists in there too, speaking about
yeah.
him and stuff like that.
Most definitely, yeah.
Speaking of documentaries, I just watched my dad, Run DMC's documentary on Peacock, right?
Yeah.
And it had 3 episodes. It was really good. I called my dad. I said, it was a really good episode. You know, one thing you've always told me, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this later, is about feeling closer to your dad when you see certain things.
Yeah.
I feel like when I watch documentaries about Run DMC, I feel closer to my dad.
Real talk.
I was 5, I was 6, I was 7 when he was at his hottest peaks. And like, when I got older, I got to see him in his reverend times. And not to say that it wasn't great times, but the person that everybody saw, the rock star, I didn't see. So when I see these documentaries and I hear about him, it makes me feel closer to him.
Real
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's talk about parenthood, brother.
Oh my goodness.
What is one part of it you didn't expect?
One part you didn't expect. Well, early stages, the young. The one that you didn't expect is just a hardship that you're gonna feel when your child is either sick, crying, or needed, and you're getting less of sleep, and you know this is real serious. And then you think about this is yours, so you think about like, what do I feed it? Feed it right.
Feed it. But I know what you mean though. You're
don't wanna
responsible
feed-
for a child, a person, a whole human.
So it's like, you know what I mean? You're just taking real cautiousness of this, cautiousness of that. Like, you know what I mean? Just the importance of everything. Like a child sleeping on its stomach, you know what I'm saying? And paying attention to it. So, you know what I mean? The deep responsibilities of it, you really take an insight of it. Because my first 2 girls, my second daughter, he was birthed her and raised her. But my first daughter, I didn't. And didn't even know about her till she was like older, almost 1 or 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't go through that. I went through that more so with my children, with my second baby, and my children with my wife. And my children, my wife, I was in house. You know what I mean? My second daughter, me and her mom wasn't, you know what I mean, too much. So therefore, I'm there at a time. And then you kind of being a young hustler and moving, you miss a lot of different things. So with Ilani, Imani, and Eric, I seen it all, all day, every day. So it was like, whoa.
And I know you're very hands-on. You be dropping them to school, and you be around, and you go to all the track meets.
So now when you first start to have your kids, you became, insecure of where they at, overprotective of them. You feel what I'm saying? So they didn't too much, they didn't even get dropped off at mama's too much. You feel what I'm saying? So it was like, that was my first learning of it. So I kind of sheltered them. You know what I mean? So when I sheltered them, it was just everything us, and it was all daddy. So, you know what I mean? It wasn't easy going to drop them off at a young age because it's like, oh yeah, we don't, but that's how you really be. And they came, they grew up to be well. I got a track star, got one finna graduate early, and my boys want to play football now, which I didn't think was going to happen, but you know what I mean? And my youngest boy, he want to play anything that his brother do. So
I think that kind of question is like, what did you not expect? Parenthood is a whole thing of what not to expect, right? Like when your wife gets pregnant, you're like, what do I expect? You're never gonna know until it actually happens in parenthood.
Yeah.
Like parenthood is still a bunch of questions for the parents themselves,
real talk.
right? Like
but I didn't want to go on that part, but you went through it as far as even dealing with the mother, the change of her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a whole different change of a woman than when we was going out on dates.
Oh, we gonna talk about love and our wives in a bit. And we're not gonna jump into that yet. I got the cue cards for it. But I wanted to jump into community work and what you've done for the community. Can you talk about some of the AIDS awareness work you have done in your father's honor? Oh man,
so much, man. I went to Belgium, you know what I mean? I got noticed when a magazine in I want to say Ghana, I want to say it. I actually will go look back up and we can correct it. And they put me in a magazine front cover about the work that I was doing. And I was just going to a lot of AIDS, you know what I'm saying, facilities where they give you help, you know what I mean? They talk to the youth, get the youth involved. And you run across a lot of different people who have been through a lot of different things in their lives by contracting this virus.
Right.
And you learn about the facts of this virus and what it attacks and what, let's say ethnicity attacks for it more so, you know what I mean? And what, the government does and does not do to help it. And even cities that are like, would scare you on the statistics of how many, each person in that, it's like 3 to 1, 1 to 3, you feel what I'm saying, of a person in certain states. And I'm not going to put it because people feel like you pointing fingers at them and everything of different states. So you'd be like, wow, that's even worse than a third world country. And that's in America.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I found out a lot about doing it, but I've done it across all throughout our country. And like I say, Belgium. And it's beautiful walking around, meeting individuals and letting them tell their story as I tell my story, even though, to be honest with you, I may not feel my father died of that.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
You don't feel he died of that?
Not at all.
But before we get into that conversation, because that's a deeper conversation, right?
Yeah.
Do you think even with them saying he did, it helped you research AIDS more and try to find out what it's about?
It takes nothing away from how serious it is, and like I said, the facts that I found out, and it's killing our people.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? It's like it was directed at our people, and then it got to a point to where it ranged from the age of say 23 to 32, 21 to 32 age that has it. Now it's 15, 14 to 21. Mm-hmm. So that's when you sit here and you look at it and you see the statistics and you be like, oh, nah, this is serious.
Right.
And then it gets so serious to why they bring me out here, because why? The youth will listen to you and this younger generation that's contracting it. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow. So it doesn't lighten up the fact of what it is. It doesn't take away the fact of how serious it is. And it's something, because when he did pass away, I learned a lot about it.
But you don't feel that's why he died?
Nah. And that's when you learn a lot about it.
What do you think? Why do you think?
Hey, you feel me? Only God knows at this point in time, but there's some funny stuff that, went on. I just, like, a virus didn't take you feel what I'm saying? Something else had to, in an instance of you were just in a vulnerable position. So, hey, you know what I mean? It's,
right.
You talking about somebody who it's just go down the line of individuals who own everything and are powerful and they feel like nobody can control them. Just talk about it, line it up. You feel what I'm saying? It's just, not to wish nothing, but we just beating facts and real. Something happens. in an instance, or, what I mean? I'm thankful and thank God that the ones that if something happened, you're at least still alive.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But something happened. You feel what I'm saying? If not, they're going to get away and something later down the line is going to happen. You feel what I'm saying? And it's going to be related to what everybody, quote unquote, expects you do.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So let's think about what Eazy-E's about.
Right.
Ladies man.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? What is he? A lot of kids.
Right.
A lot of different women. He's not practicing safe sex. He's doing what he's doing.
So they try to you feel like they just try to throw that on him because of that.
You feel what I'm saying? But again, it doesn't take it away from how serious the thing is, because when it did pass away, I learned everything about it.
Right.
Because why?
You wanted to know. You wanted to know what took your father away from you.
This is what took him away. So even when you 16 and a girl look at you in your eyes and be like, "Are you sure you don't have it?" So that's what was. So wait, a girl asked you that because when you lost your father, a girl asked you, "You sure you don't have it?" Yeah, and I was 16, so I lost my dad when I was 10.
I was gonna ask you. So you lost your dad when you were 10.
Yeah.
And somebody asked you that at 16.
16, the girl who took my virginity.
Asked you, "You sure you don't have it?"
Yeah.
I don't think they.
Yeah, but as a man, and this goes to society, I don't knock her for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't knock her
because of what was out there, and
for wanting to.
She was
sit here
scared,
and find
probably.
Out, you
right.
know what I mean, I'm going to do this with you, but are we going to do this safely?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't knock her. You know what I'm saying? But as a kid at that point in time, you like, yeah, that kind of turns you into a shell.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So, but I don't knock her at all.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, at all. You better find out if this motherfucker is all right and, doing what he do. You feel what I mean? And I was a virgin, you know what I'm saying, at that time. So, as my age, I didn't understand that or didn't respect it whatsoever.
That's crazy.
You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, you want to learn everything about what you expect this thing is supposed to, why they want to say that we do, why they want to say my little sister who was born 6 months after he passed away does.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, okay, this is the reason. This is why. But then again, let's go back and say, hey, well, why did he have surgery then if he was sitting here, at full-blown AIDS?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why? White blood cells.
A lot of questions, a lot of whys.
Thank you.
A lot of whys.
So that's why I knew, like, hey, this didn't happen. And then there's other stuff that I'm going to leave in the documentary that happened.
I'm figuring it's going to be in the docu-series, so we don't want you to give away too much.
That went on, that'll sit here and enlighten a lot of people to sit here and put their own conclusion of what they feel, but we have an understanding.
So losing your dad at a young age, 10, right? Mm-hmm. I know that probably took a huge toll on you.
Yeah.
And you I know you feel you didn't get the opportunity to know him as a man that you are now, like a grown up, right?
No.
What would you ask him now? And I don't want to get too deep, but like, you're a man now, and I think you do so well carrying his legacy. You're such a stand-up dude. Like, from what I hear, you're just like him. You're so real. You care about people. You put people in position. Yeah. That's everything that your father did. What would you ask him right now?
Man.
If you could have a conversation with Pops, got these kids, got your wife, y'all on grown up hip hop, and your Pops is here like my Pops is here.
Yeah.
What would you ask him? What would be a question you wish you could ask him?
That's a tough one, because you think about his grandkids and the things that they do. So, you know what I mean? It's just so much. This is a bucket full of them. But if you had to break it down to like something that was impersonal that I would ask my father. You know what I mean? It is some highly impersonal stuff that I ask him, but
you ain't gotta express. You don't have to tell us.
They're there, but I would come to the fact of like, what happened?
Right.
Because I feel he knew it. Why? Because
you want to know what happened.
He protected us in all aspects that people really don't know. You know what I mean? But made sure that we were okay. You know what I mean? And at the same time, as far as in his last few days, he was able to talk and was trying to say something, but had too many tubes in his mouth, and all of this, he's going through this. So if anything, I know he knows, what went on, who had something with him, who was a problem that he felt.
Right.
You know what I mean? What happened? Because that was a turn of all of us having the problem we have in our life as my siblings, you know what I mean, of the heartache, the pain, you know what I mean, of growing up like that. And then that's why we love, when you ask me about my children, that's why I give it so much to them, because I couldn't imagine that.
Leaving them.
Yeah.
Right.
I turned 11 April 23rd. I buried my dad April 7th. My oldest son's 11.
Wow. So
psychologically,
it's fucking with you a little bit.
Every year, every step, every day, you know what I mean? And you'd be like, man, I couldn't imagine ever giving my kids that. That's why it's always when I'm here, it's like, hey, you know what you doing? I'm at the house. You know, I'm just here. If I'm not at home, I'm on the road. So you just don't ever think about them going through that. So, you know what I mean? You just want to ask them that question, you know what I mean, of what happened, because this was a turn of our lives being turned upside down.
What would you do if you could spend a day with him? What would be a perfect day with you and your pops right now if he was here? What would you do?
Oh man, that's a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh man, dang.
It's a lot, right? That you could do with him. You get the studio.
Yeah. Well, we definitely would talk for hours. Go visit his father, my grandfather who raised me. You know what I mean? And then drive up to go have dinner with the kids and just conversate about what they doing in life. Things that, you know what I mean, I know he'll be proud of, because, you know, my baby runs track. He ran track. His brother ran track.
I didn't know Eazy ran track.
Yeah. Well, he used to get out there. He didn't run track, but he used to get out there when his brother had a football game.
And be out there running.
And race everybody for money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, look at your granddaughter. You know what I'm saying?
Now she's really doing it.
Look at this. Look at your grandson, my first one, Eric the Third. You feel what I'm saying? So.
And I know that gotta feel amazing. I got a Joey. I got a Joseph the Third. So I know how that legacy feels to be able to say, look, I got a third one, and the legacy continues. You know what I mean?
Talk, bro. Yeah. And my son Ryan, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
My little one that looks just like me, built like me. But you know, that's a good question, bro.
So out of all of this, how is hip hop? Let's talk about hip hop.
Man,
how has hip hop been a part of your healing? And does hip hop help with your mental health, or does music help with your mental health?
Yeah, you can say not hip hop,
but music
music. Well, you know, hip hop music or all that. Yeah, well, cause you're good at that. That's good, JoJo. Cause outside of hip hop, it helps a lot with healing, cause it's different, you know, genres of music that can sit here and put you in a different mood, what you're going through. And it's crazy because having a father who's big in music, you will think that all the heartache and pain came from this entity.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's crazy how this entity can help you soothe things, you know what I mean, that you related to, you know, the individual that you lost in your life. So it's good, bro. You know what I mean? Good. My kids do it now, you know what I'm saying? And of course, kids that you look, I just tell my kids all the time, y'all don't know how good y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't.
Not at all.
Yeah. And
they really don't.
When they go and, they're going through something, or they're mad, they'll blast some music and this, that, and the other. So you even see it in individuals that don't have the sorrow or the heartache that you got. It's just anybody. You know what I'm saying? It can be help good with your mental. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good key. And the genre of music will more so is like old school music will help.
That's what you listen to? That helps you through a lot?
Yeah.
That's probably helped you through some tough times, right?
Very much.
Yeah, I know we were driving up for a scene and you were like, yo, play some old school music, man. Yeah. Like, you was like, Joe, what you know about this? I put on some old Barry White, I forgot what I put on. And you was like, what is this? What you know about this, bro? So I know that. But that's interesting to know that old school music is really
it could
about.
Be like, where'd you learn it from?
Right.
I learned this from my mom's mom, or my mom.
It brings you back to a time.
Uncle. So it brings you back to that time to reminisce about them and the good time.
Right.
So we played this when we was having a good time.
Yep.
And I knew she was happy and she was doing this and she was feeling good. So you go back into that world and it made you.
That's what music does for you, though.
Feel good.
Makes you feel good, but it brings you back to the first time you heard it or when you used to hear it. And it can bring you happiness. It can bring you sorrow, but it definitely is a healer. You know what I mean? Music is like therapy.
It very much is, brother. Now the state of hip hop, as you were saying, it's tough.
I mean, we talking about music in a whole at this point.
It's tough.
Hip-hop,
it's tough.
I don't know if you can heal through this hip hop, right?
Yeah, not all. Nah, you gonna put yourself
crazy. You
gonna put yourself in a bad situation with this hip hop music. So I was thinking it to you why hip hop doesn't do it. Like, okay, for example, you used to have people come up and say, hey, you know, I used to listen to your pops, man. Like, yeah. It was like, man, it got me through some times when I was younger, man. Why? I was gang banging. So you have a lot of new music that takes it to an heightenment that's unnecessary for, you know, this world. So now this other music, it's going to get you the same intentions of going to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. It's music. Yeah. Well, not just music, but hip hop.
Hip hop.
After took a turn for the left and you know, we're, you know, weathering the storm right now in hip hop, but you know, there's still a lot of talent out there.
Real talk.
Let's get into marriage and love. Yep. Because I know you started talking about your wife, Aaliyah, earlier. You know, Aaliyah's family, you know, my wife loves your wife.
Oh, yeah.
You know, our families love each other.
Yes, indeed.
How important is your wife's role in your union?
Oh, very, very important. Because it's like you say, I'm a working man. So when I'm on a road moving, who's the nurturer, the provider at that time? I can maybe be keeping the bag home, but you know what I mean? Their mental, their schoolwork, their safety, you know what I'm saying? Their nourishment, everything is that second half, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, you cannot raise a kid with either,
right,
without having either.
Right.
You know
You need a balance. You need a balance.
all the way.
I feel like when it comes to a good woman and a wife that holds down the fort when you're gone, people need not to undervalue that. Because
at all.
Obviously we deal with a lot, you know, bills and the outside world and making sure everybody's good. But to be able to come home and know that somebody has your back and somebody has the house and somebody really there for you and it's like, yo, like, I got you, go handle the, you know, that's like a very underappreciated gem in today's world.
Yeah, it is.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's pandering sometimes. It's not about that. I really tell the truth about good women. If you get a good woman and she really holds down the fort and she's really there to help you build and straighten you up when you're not straight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good person.
Real talk.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think
speaking to individuals, I would say myself, not to speak on anybody else, but myself really, that's coming from a player.
Right.
I had to hang the card up. So I know both sides.
You know, I hang my jersey up.
It's both sides of the world. So, you know, anybody can sit here and give you that flack about it's not. Man, it ain't nothing like a good woman.
It ain't nothing like, thank you. Like, tell them, it ain't nothing like, people can say what they want, but it ain't nothing like a good, real woman. Especially, that's for you. And she ain't for everybody. She ain't for the streets.
None of that.
She's for you.
Man,
she's like, yo, I'm here for you. Like, me and you, we understand it. And people say we're spoiled because we've been with our women 15, 16 years or whatever. I know you've been with Aaliyah how long?
19.
And I've been with Denise 14 years, right? And I've been married 4 years. And you married about the same time, 4 years?
Yeah.
We got married the same year.
Oh, yeah. It took me a long time.
It took me a long time, too.
You know, that player had to... shaking to put that jersey. So it took me, but yeah, that's why. But been with her for 3 kids in a long time.
Yeah, and ain't nothing like a good woman. That's a good subline for that conversation.
Yeah.
So, what do you do to show up in your marriage, and what do you feel like there's something you struggle with in your marriage?
Struggle with now or past?
You can answer what do you do to show up first if you want to toot yourself up first and then tell me the reals.
Yeah. It took me a while to be a real loyal, faithful man for a minute, to be honest with you. And that was before my marriage.
Right.
So, because we've been together for 19 years. So this relationship with this individual, we had a rocky road because we were both still young. And I was 21, 20 years old. So I'm still living the life. You know what I mean? Now, as the time that goes on, is finding time for quality time. Because while we're both busy now.
Right.
She had kids. She wasn't working. We're raising our kids. I'm on the road. I'm, knucklehead here and there. I might be kicked out the house, back in another time. We're back on our sit here on road. You know what I mean? So we're together a lot more. Now it's like, hey, we're building for a future of 3 little ones.
Right.
So it's like, hey, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Let's work together to continuously elevating how we want to in life, especially having teenagers. So you find less time for quality time. You feel what I mean? You're working, you know what I mean? I'm doing the kid duty, then you're doing the kid duty, and I'm on the road.
I agree.
So that's what I probably lack in of giving that.
The quality time is big for women.
Well, it is.
And it's harder for men because we have so much going on and we want to make sure that we give them the world and give the kids the world. And I think, I know you said what you struggled with was infidelity before you were married. It was cheating and and I struggled with that way long ago. But when I finally got over that, I thought like, all right, I'm perfect now. Like we're gonna be great. Yeah. But there's always gonna be more struggles in your marriage or in your relationship. Oh, yeah. What I figured that I struggle with sometimes is being in a present mind for my wife. Like I'm so all over the place and I'm so trying to focus on bills and this and this and that sometimes she just wants me to be there and just, hey, what color is this? Or what, and what do you want to do for dinner tonight? And I'm just always like, nah, you just choose it. Yep. And I think that I struggle with like, really just being there and not physically, but like mentally for her, where I want to just listen to her. Yeah. And that's what all a woman wants. Sometimes you just listen and you listen, they'll do it for 24 hours. Like, they'll talk to you for 24 hours.
White man can't jump. Like if I say I'm thirsty.
Right. Right. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly. And I think a lot of men struggle with that. I don't think that it makes me a bad man. I just think that it's something that I'd like to work on and make sure that she's always feels supported and not supported in a sense of oh, I don't support you when it comes to your dreams and goals, but like support it when it comes to the small things.
Yeah.
Because those small things go a long way sometimes in relationships.
Yeah.
All right.
Real talk. You're not lying, brother.
I'm gonna ask you. I think we towards the end. We towards the end. So I know we were talking about Lil Eazy-E. It was called.
Yep.
What else do you have going on? Are there any acting projects coming up or anything we should be aware of that you got going on? I know you can talk about the Lil Eazy-E or whatever else.
Yeah. So Lil Eazy-E is what's going on now that we spoke on, because I came and blessed my brother with some, but a little bit of everything. I stay on the road, bro. Going back on the road to Australia. We came back because my father got a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Congratulations.
Grammy, you know what I'm saying? And that was after we also got a street.
I saw you did it. Go accept that for him too.
Yeah,
like that must be an amazing experience. I mean, it's a bittersweet because it's like I know you miss Pops.
Yeah.
You wish he could be there to accept it, but you get to be there in that role, standing next to NWA, getting that, representing him well.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably a bittersweet feeling, but it's probably a triumphant feeling as well.
Yeah, it is. Definitely, JoJo. It's like, accomplishment. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like a lot of things got, are knocked down on my bucket list for this music game or hip hop or entertainment.
Because you've lived it, you're living it through what he's done.
Yeah, once we got the street naming, so the street's forever.
Right.
So that's be Easy Street in Compton. And then after that, we got a call that, they're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. So when we did the streets, Easy Street, me and my sisters started a foundation, Eric Wright Foundation. So that's also to speak on the things that we do is to help the youth. We did 3 toy drives already from the day we started.
Amazing.
So Easy Street started the day before Thanksgiving, and we have done 3 toy drives before the ending of the last year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And we did it right on Easy Street. We did another one in Luders Park, which is on the other side, the red rag side. You know what I mean? So you don't have no color lines or thought process or ignorant thinking when you're
just about giving back, right,
for the kids. And I assisted a lot of other individuals in their toy drives as well. So that's the Eric Wright Foundation, and basically a foundation for kids. Kids that grew up in most of our city. You don't have one or the other. You know what I mean? You have both. It's a blessing, and we still loving and helping them. But majority of them don't have one or the other, like as we was raised, and not have to be dead. Might be in jail or not present. You feel what I'm saying? So we wanted to sit there help the youth, and to do more for them. And again, so I'm working on a documentary, like I said. And I'm dibbling dabbling in acting ever since I did a movie on Tubi now called Bomb Pizza.
I'm on Tubi too.
Yeah,
all right, don't listen. I'm on a couple Tubis, and I went listen. We was number one. I was number one on Tubi one time.
That's
all right, and I'm gonna take my accomplishment. All right, I am a Tubi star. All right,
Tubi is it. Tubi is it. So we got one Bomb Pizza. Me and Marcus Pope.
Okay, I know Marcus Pope.
Yeah, that's right. It's my dog. So we did
dope.
one.
Congratulations on that.
That's on there right now. Appreciate it. So I got a lot of calls to do a lot of different little.
Tubi got you jumping.
Man, what?
See, they play in Tubi.
Our show,
people get checks off Tubi, man. We out here getting these movies. I'm getting booked for another role too. They told me you want a part 3. I said, let's do it.
Well, I'm finna put you and play with these people. Got me.
Let's do it. You know what
I'm saying?
I love working with you, brother. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. So that's going on, and like us both are waiting on the reality show. I know a lot of fans out there waiting for that and want to see.
Oh, growing up hip hop.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. If that rings a bell, that goes. Other than that, I'm staying on the road.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know. Before I get to the last 2 questions, where's the show? What's going on through the show?
Yeah.
We don't even know. Honestly,
you know what I mean?
We're just waiting on the call.
We're just waiting on them to sit here figure it out.
Man, I sound like an NBA deal with them. I got a 6 season. I'm on a 6-season deal. I'm on a 6-year deal. They got me like dog on LeBron. They was like, oh, he's great.
Yeah, they just only have to year to year. So I appreciate them. It was fun. But other than that, bro, just staying, represent this legacy into what I can do. You feel what I'm saying? Continues my father's legacy. But again, like you said too, it crossed over to individuals wanting to know. That's why new music is coming, because I have fans that follow me ever since the beginning, and they just like, hey, E, we just want you to do this. You know what I mean? And that's how the movies come about, and seeing me do this, and you know what I mean, coming to perform this, that, and the other different states and countries. So I'm just staying on the move, bro.
All right. So what have you been watching lately? What like podcast, music, song, like what has been inspiring to you lately? What has inspired Lil Eazy-E? What have you been watching and listening to that's like, yo, this is dope. This is inspiring me.
It's hard, JoJo.
Cause you do a lot. Yeah. Maybe even you just traveling, because you inspire me by you just going to all these different countries, bro, and able to try. I'm like, man, he's in Dubai, and then he's in Australia, and then he's over here, and then he's back in Vegas. You know what I
mean? Back spending the money I made, gabbling this shit off. But really, inspired me as far as in getting into acting and filming. It just I go back to it be shows like Snowfall. I just got into the BMF one. You know what I mean? I'm always a late bird with shows. People like, well, how does he not do? Because I want to watch a whole season. One night I get off the road.
I remember when you started watching Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
After the whole world stopped watching it.
So I was like, if you tell me anything, I'm unfollowing you. But people be like, E, why you always be late? I did that with Snowfall as well.
You want to watch the whole thing through?
Yeah, I'll be on the road. I don't watch it. I don't have time to sit at home and sit here and catch it when everybody else is the premiere and all that. So it's a much more, joy when you sit there and you run through 3 or 4 seasons and, you know what I mean? Then I'm playing catch up, maybe the last season of the whole, situation. Other than that, that's how I like doing. I like watching The Chi. So what these shows do to me is inspire me to sit here and create are the ideas of the journey that I want to go with my father's story,
right,
or just a story period on Compton. You feel what I'm saying? And that's it, because that's kind of like a dream or a goal is to sit here and produce or direct, a situation and put it, but of how I vision and look at things and are real generic stories though.
Right.
Not fake stuff, but I want to give you a real story, but get you the in-depth of it. You feel what I'm saying? And music-wise, not too much, dog. Like you say, it wasn't. So other inspiration comes from just family, kids. You feel what I'm saying? Individual probably, going through trial and error. So just push you to do more. So I can sit here and make sure everybody else is happy. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody asked me the other question as far as in like, hey, I know you wake up happy every day, or that's the goal.
I try.
Be happy. You're blessed.
Choose it.
You're happy and you're blessed if you do wake up every day.
Right.
And it says, hey, well, outside of that, what will be the next thing to make you happy? Everybody else to wake up happy. No problem.
Right.
Situation. That's my goal.
Right.
You feel me? And that's like overly joy of your life. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm waking up every day, I'm happy. What's times that? Everybody being happy. You feel what I'm saying? So, and healthy. You feel what I mean? I'm not going through a situation. So that's my inspiration to go and keep pushing, doing what I'm doing.
Just life is the inspiration. Be able to wake up, and live life and breathe.
The kids. They might sit here and ask you, it's like, hey, Daddy, I didn't pop this tire on my car.
There's always something going on, right?
Yeah, you got to be sit here, able to sit here and be like, here, here, you're not, Here comes that, her joy gone, I can't help, assist to it, so that ain't cool.
So if somebody's out there right now and they're like, I don't know what to do for my mental health. What have you done for your mental health lately, or what do you do to keep your mental right?
Man, take time for yourself. But a lot of people that are probably going through mental health, and that's Eric, because I've learned to do that being the only kid with my grandparents, with my father before and when my father passed away. So I've learned to sit here and cope with doing it myself. As a man, I might take a shower. I might just let it all out. I can't let my little ones ever see a weak point in me. You feel what I'm saying? So individuals like, hey, when do you care about yourself? I don't know. Maybe when I get in the shower, I'll give it,
some thought. I mean? Yeah.
And when
when you're alone.
Yeah, when I do travel, it's work, but it is a peace of mind to sit here and be alone, to do what rebuilds me. Because why? I was a kid who grew up as many siblings I got, they all could tell you like, oh yeah, him, yeah, he was the only one over there, like he was the only child. He's spoiled, but that's me. So if a person can't do it by getting alone and finding that time to just woosah and relax and do it, talk to somebody.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
It's about setting boundaries.
Yeah, let's let that person feel something off of you. And when I say somebody that you trust and you genuinely care about, that you could sit here and be that open with, to sit here and let out those insecurities, stress holds or anything else. You know what I mean? And I would say go there.
If sometimes people don't have somebody to talk to, then a therapist is also not a bad idea for somebody to look into. A lot of people, our community, I think, looks down on therapy.
Yeah, we don't
like
have
there's something wrong with us or something, but we don't need to look down. We need to look up to therapy, because that's something that we can all use as a culture, because we all deal with trauma. We all, don't matter if we come from a different tax bracket. Yeah. We all deal with trauma. We all deal with PTSD of certain things, and we need to be able to let it out, especially Black men. We need a space to let it out, and sometimes we need a space like this where it's just me and you talking, or they need to go get a therapist or somebody that will really listen and just listen. Because therapy, I found out, and I don't have one yet, but I'm looking for one. It's really somebody just listening to you. Yeah. And I think a lot of men don't feel heard. So just having somebody listen really helps and it goes a long way.
It does.
Even if you don't have the answer for that person, you listening and letting them just spill it all out,
Just vent.
help somebody.
Yeah, you're right, brother. And it's crazy you say that because me and my siblings, that's what we needed. But you're right. In our society, you know what I mean, or living in a tough or urban area, it's looked upon as
Soft.
Oft. You know what I mean? Or we don't have the resources to have or know what that is.
Right.
Because you got to think kids that age, I was 10, the rest of them were younger. You know, Aaron Eby was 3 years old. You feel what I'm saying? So when they go through that, they didn't never have
They needed somebody to talk
to. You know what I mean? And that's what messed us up. And as we get older, we understand that that's needed. Why? Because
you bring it with you as you know, like you thought,
do.
oh, I'm just sad. But sad is something mental, and it's a mental health thing where you need to figure out how to address it.
Real
and
talk.
you guys carried it. You still carry it, you know?
A lot of them do, you feel what I'm saying? And more so my sisters. And they get to a point, even being adults now, you know, get to the point to where they'll vent to me and it's like, it wasn't for me to say nothing.
Right.
I got to go crazy in my mind, in my head, and like women. But it wasn't for me. And that's how I learned it because I got daughters, you feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I got more daughters than I got boys, you know what I mean? And
Having daughters is
oh my goodness. So you learn to sit here and understand that sometimes it just shut up and let them vent, listen. You feel what I'm saying? And I do this only with my girls. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else really could get it to buy. And then when I learned that with my sisters, like, damn, try what you do with your hearts,
Right.
my daughters, and listen to them.
right.
And let them just vent out.
That's what I started doing. My daughter's only 8, and she comes to me, and I ask her how does she feel about it, instead of, oh that's good, or da da da, daddy, how do you feel? So then I can get to the root of how she truly feels, and then I can answer her in the way that is more adequate for how she feels instead of how I feel about how she feels about something.
Yeah, real talk.
I don't want to give her a feeling. I want her to give me her feeling.
I get mine, be like, girl, if you don't, that shit ain't enough to be mad about.
Oh, I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like,
tough this.
right.
You know what I mean? Stop worrying about them little heifers doing over there, man.
I tell my daughter, you can be soft, but you got to have some. You got to be a little tough on life because life will be tough on you.
And the main one I do that with is one that I spoiled to death, which is Ilani.
Which is all of them.
You know, I spoiled all of them to death, but this one though, she had about 2 years of just 2 baby showers.
Jeez.
You know, all of this. And I tell her to this day, like, you so spoiled, but that's
So even when she was in the womb, she was getting spoiled.
It was my fault. Why? Because
That's the same thing about Mia. Did you see her baby shower? The Princess Mia and the gold trimmings, and now she don't think no is like no.
For real.
What?
Because it's like you got different ones. Like my older daughters, they're 21. People don't even know that. But and my track star, she's a 9th grader, and she just it's okay, Dad.
Bro.
Whatever. Like they're mad, but I don't care about it. Like she's just built that way. So the main one is my Ilani. Like she is a prissy. What? She makes
Mia. Man, let me tell you a true story before we get out of here. You know, Mia, I never tell her no, but one time I find out that she didn't even ask me for something, and my dad calls me. Hey, Joe. I'm like, hey, what's up, Dad? He's like, Mia asked me for some money for her Roblox. I'm going to wire transfer some money to her tomorrow. I'm like, bro, wire transfer? Like, how much money you sending? You know, Cash App exists, right, bro?
Yeah,
like,
real
what are you
talk.
sending her, bro? Send a little extra something for your favorite son. You know what I'm saying? But nah,
Real talk.
yeah, man. Having a girl is been wild. It's been wild, man.
I told you that.
I look to you for more advice because you got some grown babies too.
It's gonna be a bigger roller coaster once middle school and then high school hits. And you're gonna be like,
I'm just waiting. My daughter is in second grade, about to be
young.
done.
And then the coldest part about it, I'm sorry to say it, but we speaking like man, is when they go through those woman things.
I'm not ready.
What? I know you will not.
I'm not ready.
No, you will not.
I always tell Denise, like, that's your job. You're gonna have to help her.
So now you know what? Imagine when your wife and her going at the same time.
Oh, and the whole house is hell.
You feel what I mean? That's what you could get. You go get experience that.
Because she knows that mommy, when she on, it's like, all right, we can stand clear of the closing doors,
Nigga
please.
JoJo gonna be like, hey man, be like, hey, you smoking again? Yeah. you got older, you started smoking more.
Like,
hey,
yeah.
Shit happened. But you good. You got the good stage. But once they start turning to little ladies, oh my goodness.
Well, I really appreciate you coming out here, brother, man. Like,
no question.
I think this was very insightful, educational, a little bit funny. You know what I'm saying? We got some funny stories, and you know, I really, you know, created this podcast to really focus on all the good you've been doing and what all my guests have been doing. So hearing about your community work and your research on AIDS and just everything that you've been doing has been really good, man. So I appreciate you coming out on the For Good podcast.
For sure. It was I had fun. I enjoyed it, bro.
You did? Did you really enjoy it? I know I got a little pause deep, and you had to talk about.
Yeah, you did. I take glasses off.
Yeah, man. I didn't mean to do that, but my team, you know, very efficient. You know what I'm saying?
All good, brother.
But I appreciate everybody tuning in to the For Good podcast, where we focus on the good and never the bad, and we're only measured on what we do and not what we have. It's your guy, JoJo Simmons. Until next time.